Can't promise. Right. Okay, guys, we are live in the UK. Let's just grab my tea. I need my phone as well. Hi, guys. Hi, Blessed Crochet. How's it going? So, the kids are here, so I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how quiet they're going to be for me. I'm just hoping. I just need to get my stuff ready. We're still having a day of defending Lisa Marie. That's what we're doing today. So I've got my cup of tea. Hi, Tony. Yep, Tino's in the background on his phone. Now, please don't think that he's on his phone all the time. He's not. I use the phone to quieten him while we're doing the live, and then after he plays with his toys and we do stuff. And he's going swimming today, and he's going ballet. Yasmin's going ballet. Right, you have to turn it down to him. Remember, I'm live now. Okay, let's just warm up my tea. Right, keep it quiet now, please, yeah? Thank you, my lovely young man. Right, let me get my Okay, we're done. I'm ready. So it's funny because I was talking about this dressing up in the 68 comeback special, a jacket and some black jacket, leather trousers. Someone's messaged me, you've got to wear a black vest underneath, which I will, yeah. And I spoke to Yasmin, who is 8, my daughter, and I said to her, oh, do you want to dress up with me on New Year's Eve for a New Year's Eve party? And you won't believe what she said. It was music to my ears. Can anyone of you guess who she said she wants to dress up like? You'll like it. So New Year's Eve party, I'm going to wear a black leather jacket, black vest, black leather trousers. And what's Lisa? Oh, I just slipped up. What's Yasmin going to dress up as? That Tony, that would be a good one. Actually, she loves Olivia Newton-John. We love Grease. Grease is like, we love it, love it, love it, love it. But I've just slipped up. Who does Yasmin want to dress up like? Elvis. Yes. Tino's going to be little Elvis, yeah? We're going to put Tino in a little black leather jacket and some trousers, and with his collar up, gel his hair. Yes, Lorna. Yasmin said, can I dress up like Lisa Marie? Now, I see Lisa Marie in her sort of, you know, when she started her singing career. Yeah, Tino is definitely going to be a little Elvis. And Yasmin, it wants to dress up like Lisa Marie. Now, this is, let me just sort of see if I can find how I'd like to see Yasmin dressed up as Lisa Marie, which I would love it if she did it. Let me get a picture that I think would suit her. I haven't shown her a picture yet. So I said to her, look, we'll find her when she's doing it right. No, you've got to turn that down, Tina. You can go sit with Mum if you want. It's fine. Then you can have it loud, yeah? Let's just have a look. Let me see. Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie. Tina, it's still too loud, mate. Let's have a look. Okay. God, you know what? I watch Lisa's things all the time. Now I want it. That you can sort of see it a bit here. Hang on, let's have a look. She's got the levers on, hasn't she? But it's not, this camera doesn't, there we are. Something like that. You know, with the nice, the way she does her hair there. She's got a black leather jacket on. She's got a black t-shirt on. She's got a black necklace with a Jesus cross on it. I like that. Let me see if I can get a better picture of it. Obviously, I'm going to let Yasmin decide. So let's see. We'll go on TikTok. We'll see if we can find.
Thank you for listening.
Whoops. It's why I became a fashion designer. Tony, I have Tony, have you watched my Grease video? My Grease video. I'll play it for you. I'm going to play it for you, Tony. Are you ready? Have you watched it yet? Salvatore, yes. Come on. Salvatore's with us. So she was beautiful, Joanne. I'm definitely, hi Debbie. 100%. I had a crush on Olivia Newton-John. I wished I was Danny Zuko from Greece. And when I was a DJ, I played all that kind of music all the time. Yo, brother. So, Tony, I'm going to play you my Grease video. Are you ready? Let's see if I can find it. I got to find it first, of course. I'm going to play it for you. Right. Now, you know, I'm not going to lie. I have mixed views with John Travolta now because of the Scientology involvement. But I was obsessed with John Travolta, Danny Zuko, Saturday Night Fever, obviously Grease. So let's see if I can find it. Let's have a look. Right, so I made it a while ago. I got a feeling it's like on a playlist. Aha. Let's have a look a minute. Video in honor of the... Right, Tony, I'm playing this for you. It does go on a bit. It tells you my story. Just to cut a long story short, obviously, as you guys know, I discovered Elvis when I was very, very young. Yeah. Then it was part of the story was that even though I was an Elvis fan, in the mid 70s, Elvis was starting to go out of style, and then Grease, when it was released, I think in 1978, suddenly made rock and roll very cool again. So I always had a quiff, even when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all my life. So when Grease came out, it was like, yes, I can be cool again. So this is the story. This is my story of seeing Grease for the first time when I was a little kid. Let's have a listen, guys. And whilst we're doing it, I'll read your messages. Okay, guys? Film Grease and Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. Hi, Elvis fans. So I'm making this video in honor of the film Grease and Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, and how it affected my life as an 11-year-old Elvis fan. So it starts like this. In 1978, it was actually quite awkward to be an Elvis fan because many different types of music had taken over the pop world. So I don't like to admit this, but it was actually a bit embarrassing to be an Elvis fan, even though in my heart, I was a very proud Elvis fan. And this film comes along, Grease, and it hasn't come to the UK yet, but the UK are talking about this film that's set in the 1950s with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. And they had started releasing their singles, You're the One That I Want. And we were all listening to this new record and talking about this film. And we were told that it would be soon coming to the UK, but not to be played in our local towns. We had to go to the cities. And eventually it came to our city, Bristol City. So we all arranged to go and see it. And remember, as an Elvis fan who was into the rock and roll days and the 50s and 60s, this completely fitted my personality and who I was. And I couldn't believe this film that was a phenomenon was playing the types of music that I liked, rock and roll, 50s and 60s, dressing in the way that I liked, having a quiff like I had, having my collar up like I did in this film. So all of a sudden, it was cool to dress like the 50s. Let's listen to some of these interviews.
You know, there's been so much written about you since Saturday Night Fever opened, about being a star overnight. I think people are really interested to know just kind of how long it's been and kind of where you started, because you are from New York, right?
Yeah.
And look how great John Travolta looks and how cool he looks. I love how his hair is and the t-shirt he's wearing. And remember, he probably would have been 28, 29 years old at the time of this interview. I think the interview was done for Grease Day TV special in the USA.
Yeah, I guess so. There's been a lot of question about whether it's sort of a new success, and really, I guess the fame part is. But I did started out in community theater and workshops, like when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. Then at 15 and 16, I went into New York City. They had these thing called trade papers, which listed auditions for summer stock and chorus calls and sometimes small parts. And often it was off-Broadway too, and I started in summer stock, and then I graduated to union summer stock, which was a big deal.
So I think he's basically saying to us how he got the part to play Danny Zuko. Let's keep listening.
Tell us, I mean, what happened with your association with Grease has been how many years? It's been about, 8 years almost? Let's see, Grease opened on Broadway in 71. I think. Yeah. Or 72, was it? I think 71, somewhere around there. And I had seen it off Broadway at the Eden Theater in New York, and it was like my favorite show. Right. And I desperately wanted to be in it. I asked if I could get an audition for Grease, and I did. And for the National Road Company was the first time, and I got that. I was called back about 5 times. And did your hair like this? Did my hair like this? Got an outfit like this? I wanted it. And now you're starring in the movie.
So I'm carrying on my story about Grease that's going to be aired in Bristol City. And we're all excited to get there. So me and all my 11-year-old friends, we get on the train, we travel to Bristol, and there is a massive queue around the block. The anticipation was a frenzy. And we queued up for ages and eventually got in, and boom, we know the starting song, Grease, which is just so famous and iconic now. And the film really did live up to the hype. From minute 1 till the minute it finished, I was in awe of every part of that film. Not just the settings and the way they dressed, but the songs, the coolness, the style of the movie, just everything about it was a coming-of-age film for me, which opened up my interest in girls. I was only 11. Suddenly, I needed to dress cooler and be cooler, and I wanted to get shoes just like the ones that Danny Zuko was wearing, and this was a life-changing moment for me. And all of a sudden, Louis, 11-year-old Louis, was cool with his mates, because I was the only one that had a quiff, that wore my clothes with a collar up, and I just suddenly was a bit hip with my mates, the rolled up jeans, etc. And all of a sudden, the girls liked me. I was the popular boy in school. At 11 years old, I had the best looking girlfriend, and all because Grease, the movie. So in these old clips of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John arriving at Grease Day in the USA, just after the premiere of the movie, I love it because it really shows them at their most youthful. And you can tell that John Travolta feels quite awkward and nervous. And I don't think he ever really liked the sort of fame he was receiving because he was hounded. But Olivia was different. She absolutely lapped it up. And it's rumored that they actually even had an on-set affair. But you can see the fans, the frenzy, the excitement. And the very young-looking Olivia Newton-John, even though she was actually 28 at the time of filming, and John Travolta was 23, I can see they are overwhelmed by the success of this movie. This movie had become the most successful film ever made, overtaking The Sound of Music, and stayed successful to this day.
Even now, Grease 1, the first Grease, is massively successful, and it cost $6 million to make, but made $366 million at the box office. So this really is a phenomenon that I think will endure for many, many decades. And my children absolutely love this film. But I give respect to this film because it transformed my life and made me cool again at school to my friends and to the girls as an 11-year-old boy. Suddenly, I could be proud again to be an Elvis fan, to love rock and roll, to love the 1950s as well as the 60s, to dress in my own way with my Elvis haircut and my 50s clothing. Everything was fine now because Grease had made it okay. So I hope you've enjoyed my story. I've loved telling it to you. Thanks everyone out there.
Yay! Right, there we are, guys.
Making this video in honor of the film Grease and Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. How it affected my life as an 11-year-old.
Right, so there's just, let's have a look. There's a little short bit here. I'll just play this little short bit, yeah?
Making this video in honor of the film Grease and Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, and how it affected my life as an 11-year-old Elvis fan. In 1978, it was actually quite awkward to be an Elvis fan because many different types of music had taken over the pop world. So I don't like to admit this, but it was actually a bit embarrassing to be an Elvis fan, even though in my heart I was a very proud Elvis fan. And this film comes along, Grease, and it hasn't come to the UK yet, this film that's set in the 1950s. And they had started releasing their singles, You're the One That I Want, and we were all listening.
Okay, guys, I think... So, right, obviously we're in my kitchen, there's stuff going on, so I'll just bear with me. Now, I think many of us here, let's let the camera tune in. I think many of us here have went through the 70s, didn't we? I think many of us here, because you know, I mean, obviously I'm 57. Many of you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, and some in their 90s. And I think many of us here went through, you know, the years when Saturday Night Fever was released. Obviously, one of the biggest films ever. You know, the Bee Gees, Saturday Night Fever, and then very quickly, almost at the same time, we've got Grease. Now, Grease, I personally think Grease had a massive, and if you're into rock and roll music, Grease was a dream come true. It definitely was for me, guys. It was like, obviously, we're Elvis fans. Now, I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but in the mid-70s, there were many other very, very popular different kinds of music that was coming out in the 70s. That was all fantastic. But there was, I would say, almost no rock and roll music. I would say in the late 70s, there was a bit of rock and roll, but not much. So for me, we heard a rumor that Grease was coming out. The song "You're the One That I Want." It came over to the UK, and we were like, "Oh, what's that? What's that? You're the One That I Want." Yeah, we didn't even know that it was linked to a movie. Then another song came out. I think it was "Grease Is the Word," and that's when we, like Salvatore said, and that is when we started saying, "Right, all right, you banged your leg." So it's right, it's Tino. But that, I think when Grease Is the Word came out, that's when people started talking about this movie, Grease, that's coming from America. Now, it wasn't going to be in our hometown. So we had to wait for it to come to Bristol. And for me, being someone with a quiff at that time, I think I was 11. It was a big deal. It was like, wow, a film that's about rock and roll. Suddenly, it was cool. Suddenly, me having a quiff was okay. Salvatore said that he went through it. There was a period of time in the mid-70s where it wasn't cool to have a quiff. So suddenly, Grease comes out. We're cool again. So obviously, the girls in my school liked it. So it was, for me, life-changing. Grease was life-changing. I know for Tony, it was Olivia Newton-John changed her life. Is that right? Olivia Newton-John got Tony into fashion designing, clothing fashion design. So I was besotted with Olivia Newton-John. I had a massive crush on her. To me, she was like the perfect looking woman, not just how she looked, the style and her personality and just her energy. Olivia Newton-John energy. Even John Travolta, you know that scene at the beginning where he's facing the school and then he turns around and does that. He looks behind him and then they're all his T-birds are all jumping on his back and he's like, cool it, guys. Yeah. It just very life-changing. But I think I agree with Salvatore and with Tony that to be a rock and roll fan, to be an Elvis fan, that's when you get Grease. You get Grease because you've got to have that rock and roll rhythm in your heart to really get Grease. Even though obviously it was a phenomenal success, one of the most successful films ever made, isn't it? Grease, yeah. So let me just read some of your comments, guys. I thought it was Olivia Newton when I was little and told people. I thought I was Olivia Newton-John when I told people, and I was gonna be her when I grew up. Tony, send us some pictures. Come on, of you as a youngster dressed up like Olivia. I'll check. Yeah, man. Olivia, you got Olivia in your class, have you, Tino? Yeah. All right, that's cool. So if anyone wants to send me any old pictures, guys. So right, Joe from Rare Elvis Photos has just quickly commented. Let's have a look. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Joe's just commented Rare Elvis Photos. We'll have a chat about that later. Joe, in case you're watching, you're very welcome to join in, my friend. Right, so yeah, let's just read your comments. So Tony, you're going to send us some pics. If I've got some pictures of me when I was 11, but I don't think I've got any pictures of me dressed up, which is a shame. Let's just have a look. How many can you, in your comments, guys, can you tell me how many of you were affected by Grease, by the film Grease, or by the film? I love Xanadu. Tony, I went and watched Xanadu and Gene Kelly. I went and watched that when it came out in the cinema. Absolutely loved it. When they're skating around, so good, so good. And the song Xanadu and Olivia Newton-John in Xanadu is sexy, sexy. Yeah, we'd love to see your pics. Come on, any of you guys, if you've got pictures dressed up in rock and roll, yeah, when you're youngsters, I'd love to see them. Seriously, guys, put them on the messenger and I'll show them on here. Let me just see if I can find any pictures. I'm just having a look. What did you say? Right, no, shh. We need to be quiet. Gio, just favor, just keep him quiet. Thank you, mate. Gio, do you want to dress up as Elvis on New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve, did you know this? You can invite Maddie. New Year's Eve, we're having a party at a desk. Gio, New Year's Eve, we're having a party at a desk. We're all dressing up. You can dress up as well, my man. So, do you reckon I can get Gio to dress up as Elvis? Probably not. Right, love it. It's great to meet. She's so beautiful. I was, yeah, when she passed away. And I followed all that. with poor Olivia, because she was a survivor, wasn't she? Didn't she survive for like 8 years? Tony, did you see the video where John Travolta puts on a wig? This is right at the end of not long before Olivia passed away, and they went out dressed up and they looked so good, and they were like, this is like 30 years after the film was made. It was brilliant. Did you see that, Tony? Right, let's have a look. So I'll just quickly see if I can find an old picture of any of you guys. Got a picture of yourselves young in rock and roll gear? I'd love to share it. Oh, is it that long, Tony? I didn't realize it was that long. I've seen the documentary and that. Oh, she's so lovely, so lovely. It's so true when they say the good die young, isn't it? Right, so let me just see if I can quickly see an old picture. Let's have a look. Photos of me and my brother when we were kids. I probably won't be able to find it at short notice, but let's have a look. Let's just whiz through, see if I can. I don't think I'm going to find it, but I'm just. It'd be nice if we just come across one. I don't think it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen, guys. I need time for that. Gio, can you just hush him, please? Coffee. Right. So I did. Is Sherry on? I was going to mention something with Sherry, but I only wanted to mention it. If she's on. Sherry, are you on? I've got what it is. Sherry's had an experience with Facebook. She's had a bit of an argument on Facebook, and I just wanted to help her out on it and show her some support as Team Elvis. Let's have a look. No, she's not on. I don't really want to do it unless she's with us. So it doesn't matter. Is Joe, last night I watched your videos. Is Joe here? I haven't seen it. Let me just look. Joe's not here yet. I know that I did message him to say we're live, but he's a busy man, you know. He's a very busy gentleman. You know, I fully support Joe. Fully support him. 100%. I think he's a great guy. I think he gets a hard time. I think Joe gets a hard time. He does. So he's not the only one. So right. I was going to read out Sherry's situation with Facebook, where she was trying to defend Elvis and Lisa. She was quite upset, but I don't want to do it unless she's here. But it sounds to me like she was attacked on Facebook trying to defend Elvis and Lisa. So Sherry, you're definitely not here, no, because I only want to discuss it if you're here. But we have got your back, Sherry. We defend you. Team Elvis, we will always defend you. Yeah, anyone here, if you have any problems with trolls or attacks from the outside, you know, like Facebook, things like that, we're here for you. We're here for you. Team Elvis, we stand together. So what I wanted to do, I was going to just quickly discuss today's live. So I think it was important, today's live. I'm hoping to do an introduction of this book. But I don't have time to do it on this live. But what I might do is we'll do a short live now. Then the kids are going to go out with their mum. So I thought while they're out, I'm going to do a proper live with this book. We're going to introduce it. We're going to discuss it. We are going to treat this book like it was just released and that we've received it for the first time, because we must keep defending Lisa Marie. We must. Right, Tino, no more jumping now, mate. Oh, my God. You can't beat a nice coffee. So, guys, I don't know how many of you know, we started a live today. Yeah, we must defend Lisa Marie against the disgusting sexual abuse allegations with Michael Edwards that she's put in the book, because many feel that it's being forgotten. But we need to go through this book as well, which I'm going to do on the next live. But I wanted to just tell anyone that hasn't watched this morning's live, it was a very, very good live. It was one of our best lives, if not the best, because we had Bridget Cruz join us. And, you know, we're used to Bridget joining us now. We love Bridget. We know she's in a lawsuit with Priscilla. But this time, Bridget did something unusual this time. And she completely turned the whole show around. We were going to discuss the book. We were going to defend Lisa as usual. Yeah. Justice for Lisa Marie. But she asked us a question. And I'll tell you now, it sort of a bit took me back because I wasn't expecting it. First of all, I wasn't expecting Bridget to join us. I'm so pleased she trusts us. I'm so pleased that she joins our show. I'm so pleased that she trusts Team Elvis. Now, we were discussing the disgusting sexual abuse allegations of Michael Edwards, you know, opinions for entertainment purposes, usual. I've always said that Priscilla and Michael Edwards are both responsible for the abuse that happened to Lisa for 4 or 5 years. I've always said it. But I did have a slightly different view than Bridget's, than many of you. I've changed my view now. You guys have helped change my mind. Now, my view was this, that Priscilla was so besotted and obsessed with Michael Edwards that she just, how can I say it? She just tricked herself into thinking that there had been no abuse, but, and almost turned a blind eye, but I sort of was convinced that she didn't think there was sexual abuse, that the people that knew about the sexual abuse, obviously Lisa, obviously Michael Edwards. I always thought Priscilla was just this obsessed, infatuated woman that worshipped Michael Edwards, that just couldn't see the truth, that was blinded by her infatuation for Michael Edwards. That's sort of how I saw it. I still blamed Priscilla because she was the parent. She's fully responsible because she was the parent. She dragged Lisa Marie to live with Michael Edwards and Mike Stone. So I've always thought she's fully equally responsible as Michael Edwards is. Yeah. But I've never thought that she actually knew it was happening and turned a blind eye to it. I've never thought that. To me, that's like unthinkable, that a mother would turn a blind eye to something so disgusting. So it was almost like it wouldn't fit in my brain. Yeah. Yasmin, you want to come and tell them how you're going to dress up? Come over here. Right, this is say hello. Hi everyone. So Yasmin, what did you tell me? Who do you want to dress up as New Year's Eve when Daddy dresses up as Elvis?
Lisa Marie.
Yeah. So we have been discussing you. Hi Joe. Hi my friend. Joe, she was fully responsible for Lisa and told her, according to Michael, and now Lisa. Now Joe, right, we are live. Sorry. Hello, my friend. We all love you here. Everyone say hello to Joe. We all love Joe. Sorry about the noise. They're all going now. Bye, kids. Love you. Bye, wife. Love you, wife. Right. So, Joe, I don't know if you know this, Joe. I want to address you if you don't mind. I just want to say to you, Joe, I'm sorry you're getting a hard time because you're reading the book. I'm sorry that that's happening to you. Yeah. Because you're reading that, you are getting a hard time. I'm so sorry that it's happening to you. But right, so we're going to go back to the Lisa thing. Yeah. So Bridget Cruz joined us today and said to us, do you think that Priscilla knew that Michael Edwards was abusing Lisa Marie? Yeah, this was the big. Now Bridget Cruz, who's obviously in a lawsuit with Priscilla Presley and the counter abuse, elder abuse. Now, no one's ever asked that question. No one's ever asked that question. Joe, can I ask you? I'll ask you while you're here. Do you think that Priscilla knew Michael Edwards was abusing Lisa? Can I ask that? Because this is the question that Bridget Cruz asked us, and I was shocked at how many said yes. So can I just see your response to that? Do you mind me asking? Yeah, Joe, you're getting a hard time. I don't like it. You're getting a hard time. I don't agree with how you're being treated. I fully support you, and you know that. So do you think, I want to ask you as well, because Bridget Cruz asked us, do you think that Priscilla knew about the abuse that was taking place at the hands of Michael Edwards? Well, in Michael Edwards' book, he stated as much, and then Lisa stated as much. So it has to be true. Oh, no, I definitely believe it's true. Joe, 100% I believe it happened. 100% I believe everything in the book From Here to the Great Unknown. But do you believe that Priscilla knew it was happening? Because this is the bit where I was a grey area for me. So that's the question. Do you think Priscilla knew it was happening? And anyone here watching now, please let us know. Do you think that Priscilla knew it was happening? Salvatore, I definitely believe it was happening, but I want to know, do you think Priscilla knew? This is the question. No, I don't think she was making it up, Salvatore. Do you think Priscilla knew that abuse was happening? I know it was happening. You know my views that 100% it happened. I know she didn't make it up. No. Yeah, Debbie, 100%. Yes, she did. So Rhonda definitely thinks she knew. Joe, I'm with you, Joe. I was hoping not, because it's so extreme, isn't it? So Stacey, yes, she knew. Salvatore, yes, she knew. So right, so I'm interested in Joe's opinion, because his opinion is really important to me. So I believe she did know, and that's just my personal opinion. But when a daughter repeatedly tells you stuff, including Lisa having her butt spanked until it's black and blue, and she asked Lisa and said yes. Right, so I just let it, just put it on the ground. It's okay. Young girls bare bottom should never be exposed to a man. Of course, 100%. So that tells me. Bye, have fun. Love you. But that I find that shocking. Yeah, I find that shocking. I'm like, it's one thing that abuse happens secretly from Michael Edwards, which is disgusting. He should be in prison. I clearly say here on YouTube, he should be in prison. He should have been arrested ages ago. He should have been arrested in the 1980s. But now that many of you guys, there's like, this morning we had about 50 of you on, yeah? And many of you are saying that you feel that Priscilla knew it was happening. Even I get the impression that that Bridget Cruz, the auctioneer that joined us, also knows that Priscilla knew, because she tried to tell us indirectly. She said she brought the question up. Bridget Cruz, don't forget, Bridget Cruz was good friends with Priscilla. So Joe says, in the very least, Priscilla turning her head and doing nothing about it until Lisa was an older teenager is guilt. I totally believe that Priscilla is as guilty as Michael Edwards, even if she only was suspected that it happened. Yeah. So honestly, guys, it's like I now see the situation with Priscilla and Michael Edwards to be even worse. Not worse for Lisa in the way of trying to get justice. I just see it worse that now there should be two people that are prosecuted, that are arrested, that are questioned. Because if Priscilla knew, it's almost as bad as the actual abuse, in my opinion. If she knew, I don't see how we could prove it. Now, Lisa, you know, Lisa does indicate that she tried her hardest to tell her mother, Priscilla, obviously because of the bruising. I just find it even more disgusting now. I find it even more disgusting. So Lisa told Priscilla that Edwards touched her in the bed and went under her sheets before she even told her about the bottom. So then Salvatore, poor Lisa, had no one else to tell. Elvis is dead. And I keep saying this, that the reason Lisa put it on the tapes, the reason Riley allowed it to stay in the book, is because Lisa and Riley want the world to know, want justice for Lisa. I really believe that. So Joe says, and then we look at her gaslighting Lisa and death with Navarone, and when being asked about the book, no sorrow, no guilt, her appearing on stage and laughing, making it about her is deflection. I'll tell you what, I've got very strong views, Joe, about Priscilla storming in to the Graceland book signing. Of course, I do think Riley knew she was going to be there. Do I think Riley knew she was going to walk into that room for the book signing? I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I think there's a chance that Riley knew she was there, but hoped that she wasn't going to walk into that room. And you're gaslighting, just like you say, she took it as an opportunity. Priscilla took it as an opportunity to sit there and slag off her own daughter, Lisa, in front of Riley, her daughter. Yeah, I actually think the way that Priscilla spoke about Riley's mother, Priscilla's daughter, was disgusting in front of the audience, in front of the world. And then she goes on to slag off Michael Jackson in front of his goddaughter. So I just think the whole thing for Priscilla was an opportunity to try and deflect the negative. You know, this did some damage to Priscilla. This lovely book, that the 16 tapes, did some serious damage to Priscilla's image and reputation. So I think Priscilla, because the book signing was at Graceland, it was important to Priscilla to be in that room and have her say and have her moment in the spotlight to try and turn things around, even though that was cruel to Riley and probably made Nicole Richie feel very awkward. Yeah. So I think Priscilla tried to mitigate the damage done by the book by making out that Lisa basically says things she regrets. Yeah. So and then we've seen, let me just try and think about it. We've seen that short interview where she's with Navarone, where she says, oh, I love her to death. I love her to death. But, you know, she says things she regrets. She says things she regrets. And then she has that weird laugh that she's got in front of Navarone. You've got Navarone also with the weird laugh. And another thing that Joe just mentioned, why does Priscilla not grieve for Lisa? She doesn't grieve. I've never seen Priscilla grieve for Lisa. You got the fake interview with Piers Morgan. That interview was a complete joke, wasn't it? It was a complete joke, that interview. And I just think, even Joe, I'll ask you this question. Why was Piers Morgan so soft on Priscilla on that interview? I don't get it. Piers Morgan, who is a hard-hitting interviewer, who really does normally ask some very tough questions, why was he so soft to Priscilla? Joe, can you answer that question? I've never been able to understand why Piers Morgan was so soft to her. I'll just wait for that answer. And so maybe the worst bits were not into the UK. Yeah, I know they've kept the bits out of, thanks, Tony. They've kept bits out of in the English book. I think the Australian book, there's the real serious sexual abuse has been kept out, hasn't it? The bit where he puts his hand under the sheets. So we have to keep bringing this up, guys. We're trying to demand justice for Lisa Marie. We want Michael Edwards arrested for his sexual abuse, and we have to keep bringing it up. We do. That's one thing the fans do keep asking of me. please keep bringing it up. Please keep talking about this book. And I'm listening, guys. I'm listening. Michael Edwards also stated that Priscilla acting jealous over his relationship with Lisa. Yeah, and I think isn't that in the book as well, Joe? That's in Michael Edwards' book, isn't it? Is it Priscilla, Elvis, and Me? Which is another indication that she knew. And did Priscilla sue Michael Edwards? No. So, and the other thing is the Howard Stern interview, which to me, that Howard Stern interview is one of the most disgusting interviews I have ever seen. I don't know how many times you've watched it, Joe. I'm sure you have. Yeah. But that Howard Stern interview makes me feel sick when I watch it. That man, he's a sicko. Howard Stern is a sicko. But the one good thing that came from that interview is that Lisa does out that she was abused, that she was sexually abused. She sort of half says it, doesn't she? So that's the one good thing from that disgusting interview. So Louis, do you have, let me just go back a little bit. Louis, do you have USA version of the book? No, I've got the British version. I have heard the USA version because people have sent it me on audio tape, and I have listened to the book, the audio tapes of the book. I have listened to the audio tapes. Children who are being sexually abused, this is Rhonda, are so afraid to tell that they feel the shame, that they feel they did something wrong, and they fear no one will believe them. Approved. So Tony, I need to send him the USA version as soon as possible. So much work and abuse. That's kind of you, Tony. Thank you. Very, very kind of you. My address is in the description. Send me whatever you want, guys. I find it all fascinating because he was told what to ask her. Otherwise, she wouldn't do the interview. Thank you, Salvatore. I think he has heard the other version. I know both versions, guys. I know both versions. Right. Joe says, I think he has more to do with people that are rich and in the inner circles. Do we know whether he involved with Scientology? I don't know, but perhaps the timing. That's a good question, Joe. Was Michael Edwards involved in Scientology? That's an interesting question. I never even thought about that. Obviously, we've been watching Serge Del Mar lately and getting a bit of more of an insider idea of what went on with Priscilla and Lisa and Riley and Benjamin through those Scientology years. Tony, I'm sure it was a lot worse that Riley held back, and of course she was afraid of Scylla suing her. Definitely, lawsuits always a problem, isn't it? It's always. Also, in addition, there were people that do believe Priscilla's story. We can't discount that. Well, come on, guys. Priscilla has a very loyal following. She has a very loyal following. Howard Stern is disgusting. I can't. Do you know what? I've only really watched it maybe a couple of times. Like, I've watched it quite a few times, but I can only watch little bits of it because it sickens me. I sort of watch it for a minute and then I like turn it off because it makes me feel sick. I can't stand that man. Hi, Songbird. So she was not going to answer the truth on that because she was releasing a rock and roll album, not a victim album. Yeah, she didn't completely say everything, did she, Joe? She just sort of said enough. She said enough, but it was brushed under the carpet, wasn't it? I mean, that was ages ago. It was years ago. It was not taken seriously. It was not taken seriously. I never understand. Even Michael Edwards basically admits it in his own book. You know, this book was, when was this book? Was it the year 2000, around 1990s, that book came out? Why was nothing done about it? Michael Edwards admits it in his own book. And now Michael Edwards now says, oh, I didn't mean it. You know, they sensationalized the book so it would sell more. Michael Edwards has come out and completely categorically denied any abuse. So I know that how the law is. The law's changed. You can't arrest people after a certain amount of years. But come on, guys. There needs to be some form of punishment towards Michael Edwards. We, the fans, were punishing him because we all are horrified by his disgusting abuse. So he probably can't even leave his house where he's hated so much, because the fans truly believe what went on, because it's in the book, From Here to the Great Unknown. So yeah, so I remember I was asking Joe, why do you think Piers Morgan was so soft? So soft. Even I haven't worked out. I'm asking Joe because I'd like to know his opinion. Why was Piers Morgan so soft on Priscilla on that interview just after Lisa died? Just, you know, around the time of the release of the Priscilla film, Sofia Coppola's Priscilla film, because I don't understand it, because we here in England, we know Piers Morgan as a real hard-hitting interviewer. I just don't understand it. It's almost like he was in love or something. It's like he was besotted by her, or they pre-agreed it. I just don't get it. I mean, I've noticed that Priscilla Presley likes to bring up Michael Jackson regularly. She says that Michael Jackson only wanted Lisa for a baby. You can clearly see that Priscilla didn't like Michael Jackson. That's very obvious, yeah? So I sent you an email with my daughter. Oh, thank you, bless it. So someone, let me just let someone in a minute. All right. All right, come on. Right, this door shuts itself now, Ben. Right, so can you just come and quieten the dog? Right, shh. Okay. Shh, go on. Go and sit. Sorry, guys, my daughter's just got home from work. Right, so great to see everybody's comments in here. Sorry, I can't stay much longer. I'm actually traveling on the road and going to host a party for my employees. Oh, thanks, Joe. So, guys, why I'm going to carry on that question. Piers Morgan might be a Scientologist. I never thought of that. He may have been a fan of Priscilla. I think he was a fan of Priscilla's. I honestly do think. I think he had a crush on her, because he's known her since the 80s, hasn't he? I think Piers Morgan had a crush on her, and that's why he was so soft in that interview. So, Joe, thank you so much for joining us. I just want you to know, mate, we got your back here. We fully support you. I think you're going to have an interesting couple of weeks, my friend, because I've been seeing the different things that are happening around you. But what I have noticed, Joe, is that your subscribers, your members, the people that support you are very loyal to you, and they got your back, my friend. They got your back. So stay strong. We fully support you, and we thank you for joining us. We thank Joe. Thank you so much. It means everything to me. I will always support you, Joe. So that's it, guys. Let's all give Joe a big thank you. I'll give you guys a chance to thank Joe, and then we're going to carry on chatting for a bit longer. Thank you, Joe. Rare Elvis Photos, come on. The biggest channel on YouTube. The biggest Elvis channel on YouTube. Let's face it, guys. And such a lovely man. Such a lovely man. Every one of you, please subscribe to Joe. Please subscribe to Joe. He's done some great work. I know that people are trying to sort of bring up this book to attack Joe. Now, my attitude to this book is up to you guys what you believe. And this book is just one of the things that Joe does. This book is just one of the. Joe is reading 30 different books. Joe has covered every single topic you can imagine to do with Elvis. He also is a massive defender of Elvis, and it's completely unfair the way that Joe's been treated. And even with the Facebook channels, they go too far. They go too far. So Piers Morgan calls Scientology a cult. You take care, my friends. Thank you. Brilliant. Have a great time. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to end this live stream, and then I'm going to start another one, and we're going to start reading this book. I want to keep them separate. So if you don't mind, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to end it and start a new one because I want to keep them separate. So everyone say goodbye to Joe. Thank you, Joe. We highly respect you. I admire you myself. I think you're a great person. So guys, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm just gonna end the chat. Then I'm gonna restart another chat straight away. And then I want to discuss what's happened to Sherry and the abuse that she's had from a Facebook page that has attacked her. Okay, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes, guys. Please stay here. Join on to the next live. Thanks, guys.